Meet the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Lumière, a watch that looks like it came from an MI6 design lab and feels like it came from a vending machine. It's got titanium, it's got ceramic lume, it also costs nearly 2 grand, and somehow it still feels like you're wearing a prototype from AliExpress. Hyperbolic? Maybe, but let me explain. Let's do the tech flex first. 41mm case, this is the sweet spot for people who like their dive watches to not actually dive. At 10.85mm thick, this is the thinnest Trident ever because, it's always better, right? Lug to lug, 47.9mm. It'll fit your wrist, probably. Water resistance, 300 meters. Yes, that is 299 meters more than most owners will ever need. And the head weight, it's 59 grams only. Yes, you heard that right, because apparently, feeling like air is now a premium feature. It's just about to burst out of my 6.25-inch wrist, but it feels so light and so comfortable because of that titanium case and that contoured shape. Whether it's on the cuff or in your filthy watch pirate hands, this watch has all the refinements on the case and bracelet that's hard to get on any other microbrand. The bezel action is also very solid. Although it feels a little light, it's expected with all titanium dive watches, so you need to get used to that. The crown is also, as expected, a screw-down seal. And once it's popped out, you can set this Celita caliber that's also chronometer grade for extra flex points. No date to worry about. Like enjoy your Guinness Stout on the bar, talking to the bartender. Now, wearability is a great feature of this watch, but there might be some pushback on these really long clasps. I prefer the shorter kind as my wrist is more delicate, quote unquote, but most beefy wrists shouldn't mind. Notice also that CW provided some half links to this watch, which really ensures it will fit even your ankle if you wanted to. Flip it over and you have this micro adjustment button that's marked push for those who question everything when it's obvious at what it does. This is also the kind that doesn't ratchet back, so it's locked both ways. Move a few links back and we'll get this twin trigger quick release end link. It has now come to the point that we see these things too often that it's more rare than an Antarctic Sasquatch to not have one. I mean, really, have you ever seen an Antarctic Sasquatch? And of course, what this does is that it gives you an option to buy even more of those overpriced CW NATO straps, or put on a Chinese knockoff that will definitely fool any unsuspecting date or bartender. Take for example this aviator strap that has no business at being on this watch aside from being the fact that it fits its 22mm lug width. It's chunky, it's stiff, and it costs less than a Starbucks double shot espresso. This also has that neutral tone that makes this dial pop a lot more than it should. Some people like that, while some like to complement their dial even more. This cheap NATO also makes a case for that idea, and I think it gives it a little more playful spirit than most would entertain. Definitely not something you'd wear if you want to date your bartender. So sometimes it's best to just stick to the original, and that's this beautiful titanium bracelet. It's got a nice taper and some decent chamfers this side of a Tudor band. Now let's mind your thoughts on the C60 Trident. Cola Pizza Cat was surprised to see all the gaps on the links. Stench Finger, a true watch pirate name right there, calls the packaging the worst packaging in watch pirate history. Yoda Jenkins said it seems to have some good protection against free radicals and likely has a good dose of beta carotene on the dial. And finally, Mr. Zanzibar was disappointed by the Lume and it doesn't glow like the competition. Now let's go through the features. Titanium case? Check. Globaline XP luminous ceramic blocks? Check. Marketing that reads like a marble origin story? Double check. They made the dial out of 17 chunks of ceramic lume. Yes, actual sculpted ceramic blocks that glow in the dark. As if that somehow justifies the price tag, right? And the movement, Celita SW300-1-1, meaning not the problematic one. And this one is COSC certified. It has 56 hours of power reserve, it's ultra accurate, and it's like strapping a Swiss stopwatch on a feather. All of those specs look very, very nice, and most people would readily buy this just by looking at that spec sheet alone. However, there's something a little bit off when it comes to the actual watch. Now let's go on to the bad design first. Let's be honest, for all of the premium materials, this watch doesn't actually deliver that premium feel. It looks like a $2,000 watch in photos and quite arguably on the papers as well, but it feels like a $200 watch on the hand. Yes, this is a full titanium case and full titanium bracelet watch, and I agree that many watches can pull this off very nicely, and titanium being a hard and durable material, this makes sense on a dive watch. However, for the regular Joe that's buying his first dive watch, there's a lot of options to be had, and they feel a lot more substantial on the wrist. So, rookies beware, this is really for the CW enthusiast. And that loom that's pretty much hyped throughout all of the marketing materials, well, it kind of felt underwhelming. The dial texture is actually pretty nice, and the color pop is actually pretty fun to look at, as many would put it. But those loom blocks, even though they're very sharp and very nicely sculpted, they actually don't look as premium as I would expect it to be. Look, if you close your eyes and you tell me that this is a grade 5 titanium case which is beautifully sculpted and finished, including some global light loom on it, I would readily think that this is a Moser that we're talking about and not a CRISPR board. And you'd be right because both brands have used such materials. However, the execution here and the pairing here on a dive watch doesn't seem right. Now, on to the good design. That said, there's a lot of effort in this watch. If you're buying $2,000 worth of enthusiasm and effort, you'd be getting this C60 Trident. The loom work is genuinely impressive. That sculpted blocks of globalite, cheesy name aside, glows like a sci-fi prop. The bracelet clasp is well designed and the movement is reliable and very thin. It's not lazy, it's just a little off. I said it looks underwhelming because I guess I expected too much. These are finely cut ceramic that looks a lot crisper and refined up close. Now, that is a problem though, because you need a loop in your face to appreciate that. But it's there. With Globalite, you can have this really white color without the greenish overcast of the Lume paint, such as seen in Lumicast. Plus, it's a lot more solid to work with, thus, they can turn it into hands, such as what's seen in this Trident. And you know what? If you just look at the watch, it's beautiful, it's a clear winner. However, as you wear it and start looking at it for more than 5 seconds, you kind of feel that underwhelming feeling that that $2,000 may have not been worth it. And here's the brutal truth. It looks stunning in press photos, it's packed with high-end materials, it glows like a radioactive jellyfish. But the second that you hold it, the illusion just collapses onto itself. It's too light. It's nicely polished, but it's also too mid. This is not a watch that you buy for the spec sheet. However, arguably, it is a watch that you should buy because of all of the specs that are in the sheet. Because it has all of these premium materials, the premium design, and not to mention the brand cachet. What else is there to be had? The problem is, this kind of watch is for the enthusiasts who already have other CWs in their collection, and if you're just starting off, this kind of feels like a titanium citizen that you could buy for less than half the price. So, a word of caution if you haven't seen one of these in the metal or in titanium, I suggest that you go to one of the shows and look at CW's booth and try it on there and see if that is worth the $2,000 that you're going to drop on this watch. Because if you buy it blind, you're setting yourself up for the wait, this is it moment. And that's the problem. It's premium without the presence. It's cool but kind of forgettable. Like a concept car that never makes it to production, but it's right there and you drop $2,000 of your money to it.